Hey guys, welcome back to a channel Info Byte. So today we will discuss the fascinating topic of migration of animals. I mean, honestly, all of us at some point used to think whenever we saw Discovery or National Geographic, like how when so many animals are migrating, how do they know the way? I mean, they don't have Google Maps or a guide or anything. I mean, it's actually a very fascinating thing to know, and I would tell you about how they do it, some examples, and some of the negative impacts of humans that are causing animals to lose their way during migration and all the negative impacts as well. So bear with me as I discuss this topic and kindly uh, turn on kindly like this video, subscribe to my channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss any of my new video. So first let's talk about monarch butterflies. So any of you who is from America knows about monarch butterflies, or even in Mexico, as those of you who are watching from Mexico. So monarch butterflies, they travel from North America all the way to Mexico in search of food, and they're traveling like several thousands and thousands of miles. And so how do they do it? Well, first of all, they have a very uh, good sense of their environment. They can sense the wind pressure, they can sense uh, the changes in the temperature, the atmosphere, and they know like when it's time to leave for food, and because there will be no food left in America after some time. So the most exciting thing or the fascinating thing that they have is they have a built-in sun compass. So basically they can sense from which direction the sun rays are coming from, and they can navigate the pinpoint for where is north, where is south, where is east, where we have to go. So it's a very fascinating thing, just being able to tell from where we are and where we have to go just by the rays of the sun. They also have magnetic field detection. They can sense Earth's electromagnetic field, which is also very effective for finding their way. And they also have a very good photographic memory. They know the landmark about the landmark and where they're going to. So they are, I would say, like humans, their photographic memory, it's nothing compared to these animals. Like we may think we are the only people who have enough intelligence to remember things, but these little tiny insects with their brains the size of the tip of a pin, maybe, they can recognize the landmarks and everything. So the another, like, the I would say the probably the most shocking thing about their journey is that they don't complete it in in one's lifetime. I mean, it's a multi-generational navigation. I believe you understand by what I meant, but uh, just to make things clear, is that they will die eventually in their journey, and then their their kids, their offspring, they will continue their journey. And scientists believe that their their offspring, they can transmit some kind of data through their genetics to their offspring, like you must continue this journey, and where you're going, which direction you have to go. I mean, it's a very fascinating thing. It's the most fascinating thing about these insects is that they will eventually die in their journey, but the kids, they will continue it. So it's yeah. So next, moving on, let's talk about Arctic terns. So what are Arctic terns? I'm sure most of you would not know. Arctic terns is when you see National Geographic, they are these white giant birds that are often in the Arctic and Antarctic. They live in the snow, so they are actually very. They have a very bad reputation. I mean, you've probably seen them stealing the eggs of penguin, attacking them, and stealing their babies, and stealing other birds' lunch. And so they're very like they're the pirates of the Arctic and Antarctic. I mean, and people say seagulls. They're very bad and they steal things. I would say that they are uh, these guys are the teacher of the seagulls. Like they're that bad. So moving on to their migration. So the these they what they have actually what new they have compared to the insects, but they have celestial navigation, meaning they can navigate. They don't only know the position of the sun through the rays, they can also detect the exact location of stars, so they can follow them for their direction and they don't get lost. I mean, it's a very, very interesting thing, interesting uh, ability they have. They also have the sun compass, just like those butterflies. They can detect the sun rays, the direction of the sun rays, and they can know the direction even after like this, when the sun is setting, when the sun is rising. They know everything. They know where the rays are coming from and they know what time is it. So these are very majestic birds, I would say, in their migration. They also remember, have photographic memory. They remember the way, and since these birds, uh, they travel several times in their lifetime, and they also go into Antarctic and they come back to Arctic. They're also going there for food and fish and stuff. So they also have geomagnetic orientation. They also can detect Earth's magnetic field, and I would say, discussing Earth's magnetic field, there's a very bad thing going on in the world, and that is human-made electric signals. They are distorting the Earth's electromagnetic signals, and many of the animals that navigate their way using Earth's magnetic field, they get lost due to it. Especially birds. Like I would talk about it in detail at the end. So so these they also, they know that they have their environmental cues, meaning like they know when it is time to migrate, just based on the wind patterns, air pressure, and temperature. They know, I mean, they don't even need a calendar. They know exactly what time is it, and they have to go. And another thing they have is that they transfer their experience to their youngs. So like for example, how human fathers, they're teaching their children, don't do this and do not do that, go there, don't go there. So they are also teaching their children, and when the children grow up, they teach their children. So it's a very, I would say, very heartwarming thing. Next is probably the most famous migration. Every one of you might have, every one of you knows it. I know it's about Pacific salmon. So these salmon, they are born in rivers and streams, and they migrate to sea, and then there they spend their entire life, years and years. And like it's very puzzling, like after spending so many years in the sea, how would they know where they were born and they reached the exact location? So the reason is these fish, they can detect chemical in the water, and for them, like they can smell the chemical of the streams that they were born on, and they know where it is coming from. So for example, like for humans, we can drink several different juices, and apple juices and grapes and pomegranate and carrots, and we can tell after drinking this is different, this is different, this is different. Similarly, these fishes, they can tell the difference in waters. This water is, I mean, humans, it is, they're not only incapable, but they don't even think something like this is possible. Okay, but these fish, they know which water is which. With the streams, they also have the ability to imprint their signature on the streams, just like how uh, animals do. They mark their territory and stuff, so they leave their imprint on the streams that they're coming from. So uh, and those imprints, they are they last forever, and like they last for several years, and they can sense the chemical from them, and then they know like from where they come from. So these they also they're perfect with the timing. They know exactly from the seasonal changes, the temperature changes. They know when it is time to breed, and they go all the way to the from the sea to those streams to breed. Another thing I would like to point out, that they are not coming in as a one shoal of fish that we sometimes see, the shoal of fish going somewhere in the sea, but no, they are traveling in groups, small groups, uh, those groups, they are making one decision, like together, like which is the best decision. They take this direction and don't take this direction, and they travel in groups, several groups, and they are coming in a period of time, in several days, weeks. They're coming from the different parts of the sea. They form a small group, and they go towards their breeding grounds. And I would like to point out one thing here is, I love how they, after this journey, they die, and the children, the kids, offspring, they get their first meal from their parents. I mean, just look at these birds, like they're trying so hard to continue their life cycle. And I would like to add here, because I feel like adding it, how humans are doing it. I mean, like they're not following the natural nature instincts. They don't care about the, I'm sorry to say, but they like don't care about the kids. They don't even want to have kids. They don't want to marry. And like even the, like the woman, it's just my personal thing, but they want to do jobs, and like they're neglecting the kids, and the kids, like they're giving them to babysitters, and like they're not at, they're not upbringing them. And in animals it's so great that they want to sacrifice their lives for their kids. Like, I can also give you an example of penguins here. You know, when penguins mother, their children die, so they have such a urge to adopt a child. Their mothering instinct is so high that they, whichever kid they have lost a child, they would rush in and race to adopt their child. I mean, that's what, how strong they are. And all these things, they're present in human beings as well. We are just trying to uh, we're not just following them and trying to basically control it and suppress it. So it's a very bad thing, I would say. So another thing, another group will be, which is also very famous. They are wildebeest. Those of you who don't know wildebeest, they are the the bulls of the Africa that lions are chasing and the crocodiles are attacking, but they're evading. Those are the wildebeest. Uh, so they are migrating in search of food and water, and they so they the navigation skill of these animals, they're quite different, because they don't have any electromagnetic field and any of the fancy things. They're following rainfall patterns, which is like the best thing for in their case. Obviously, that's how they made. They're following the rain patterns because you see, there's not a particular area in Africa that only gets the rain. Sometimes it can rain more in some areas and less in some others. As a result, those who didn't get enough rain, the vegetation growth there won't be as much. So they're following rain patterns, and they're following the grasses and where they're going, vegetation. So they also have they also have an ability to sense that what time is it, and the wind changes in winds and atmosphere. But like, it's not as good as those other things, those other animals I talked about. Instead, they rely on following the rainfall pattern, and they also have like the visual landmarks. They also remember the visual landmarks because they are traveling every time, every year. So they remember where they went through, but they won't exactly like follow the previous plan, because as I told you, they're following the rain patterns. And the another fascinating thing about these creatures is they are making a single a single collective decision. So you would see, like in National Geographic or Discovery Channel maybe, so they all gathered and they are thinking where to go. So let's say a few of them starts to move in one direction, but the others, they start to move in the other direction. So the few of them that went in the other direction, they would change their route and they would follow the herd. They're making a collective decision, and they are also transferring these experience to the children. They, not to mention that they are eating all their way because they are following the grass. So new bonds are, like there are several new bonds between their journey, and they're the only ones who are getting a constant supply of not a constant but a supply of food in their way, in their entire way. So it's a very fascinating journey as well. And another interesting animal is the sea turtle. So we know about sea turtles, how they came to their breeding grounds to breed. But the thing about sea turtle is that they also, like salmon, they also spend all their life in the sea. And for turtles it's several decades, because sea turtles, they grow at a very slow rate. So once they're adult, then they would go to the shores, where exact shore where they breed, and then they will keep doing it every year once they're adult. So they also have a geomagnetic, like a field. They also know the angle of the sun, by the way, and so they can sense the north, south, east, west because of the sun. And they also can detect the gravitational no, sorry electromagnetic field of the earth, and they follow entirely by following it. Now I would like to add, like, how humans, especially in the sea turtles and whales, when they're migrating. So especially human military operation, like they are conducting those operations in the sea, because they think it's safer, and if they do it on land, they will destroy a lot of life. But like they in the sea, they are also destroying many lives. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the video where so many whales got lost, and they all, I mean, 250 whales, probably a small species of whales, I believe, is pilot whales, or they were not sperm whales. So all of them, they lost their way because of human activity, because the human electric field, they destroyed with the earth natural electric field, electromagnetic field, and all those whales and dolphins and sea turtles, they lost their way. Yes, and many of them die. Similar things happen with birds as well. I'm sure some of you might have seen the video where so many ducks, they crash into a street and many of them die. This is also due to the signals, electromagnetic signals, that humans are emitting uh, through their antennas and signal towers and stuff. So they lost their way. The birds, they also lost their way, and probably they won't be able to find it again. It's especially for birds. It's very once they're lost, they have gone so far that they cannot find the way again. So most of them, they die. And for birds, another thing humans have done to stop their to destroy their migration, say, is tall buildings, because the migratory birds, they're flying at such high speeds that it's very hard to stop or like suddenly change direction, because there are no barriers in the up in the air. But before human buildings, of course, tall building. So most of the birds that bump into human building, they almost instantly die, because they're moving at such high speed. They break their neck, they break probably every bone in their body, and they die. So about the those military actions that in the I talked about, that they are testing in the sea, I would say, like, they should at least do it at some particular time when the fishes and sea turtles and whales are not migrating, so they cause less harm. But there's still a lot of harm in them, in these things. So so those were the how I told you how the animals migrate. I hope you liked it, and I personally researched on this topic a lot. And thank you for listening so far. And if you like this video, uh, make sure to comment and put uh, and like the video, and pull the subscribe button. I'm sorry, I'm so tired now. I've been talking for so long. So uh, even before this video I was talking with my friends. So thank you for being with me. Take care and have a nice day. Goodbye.